quickly move to the Champions League. As I said earlier at the beginning of the Champions League, it wasn't a matter of goals. 6 games played, 26 goals scored. Massive at the Swiss format of the Champions League. And it all started with some of the biggest games you could think of. But let's start a conversation with Real Madrid. Getting the better of Stuttgart, led Rudiger and Henry goals, making the difference. Let's talk about Real Madrid. Struggling with Kylian Mbappe, scoring for his debut of the Champions League at the Santiago Bernabeu. And Stuttgart fighting back 1-1 at some point until they took Rudiger. But the interesting part about Rudiger's conversation on goal was every player came and was slapping him. And Kylian Mbappe said, look, this man has been slapping us so much, so it's time for us to slap him in celebration. Well, massive win for Carlo Ancelotti.
Absolutely, massive win, massive relief for them as well, because it looked like they were actually struggling in the opening exchanges of this particular new season. And there were some numerous calls as regards to whether or not we'll actually see the Real Madrid we saw last season, this particular season. But we also knew that no matter the struggle of Real Madrid, whenever they hear the UEFA Champions League, they put up a very decent performance. So whether or not some of their key players are injured or out of the competition, they still find a way of grinding that result. And I think Carlo Ancelotti at this point should actually pick up this particular form from here and try to build that momentum as we progress in the game. Good win for them. Kylian Mbappe scoring his first appearance for Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League makes a whole lot of sense.
It makes a whole lot of sense for Carlo Ancelotti and Real Madrid is that conversation. And quickly talk about Liverpool easing past AC Milan at San Siro. Is that conversation not so easy? Many people thought this game would be. We thought it was going to be a fierce game, but it never happened now. We talk about a set piece for this Liverpool side. The way to respond after losing over the weekend to Nottingham Forest and scoring 3 goals. Virgil van Dijk also rising to the occasion and scoring. We're talking about Canute also scoring. Massive win away from home. Christian Pulisic opened the goals for AC Milan,
Absolutely.
but they couldn't hold that on.
Well, it is about responding quite well, and if there is anything that Ancelotti was actually happy about yesterday was the fact that Liverpool players gave him a very deserved better present. He turned 43 yesterday, and of course they also won that particular game for the man. A good win for Liverpool to start with in the UEFA Champions League after missing out last season particularly. So I think at the moment it's about building that level of confidence going forward. After some temporary setback against Nottingham Forest in the English Premier League, pick up the pieces from here and run with it, get those wins coming as much as possible. And Ancelotti and the boys, I think with the way they are going, they will actually see more progress as the season progresses as well.
As the season progresses as well, Aston Villa went away from home now, getting the better of young boys in that direction, showing class and dominance, 3 massive goals. So now Emery is back in the Champions League, and a conversation about the Champions League with the very fact that when you look at the structure, you realize English clubs are doing quite well. Let's talk about Bayern Munich beating Dynamo Zagreb 9-2. No team in the history of Champions League has scored this number of goals. The new format seems quite interesting, and Bayern Munich having a swarm of Dynamo Zagreb in that direction. Vincent Kompany coming out and saying, look, my father came from Congo.
Absolutely.
I've been more like a refugee, one way or the other. The odds were 0.00 against me, and I found a way to become a top player. Now as a coach, everyone asked about a possibility of him being able to handle the job at Bayern Munich, and he says it's a simple job. After beating Dynamo Zagreb 9-2.
If there is any statement I took away from Vincent Kompany's words yesterday, he said that no matter the outside noise, he had to believe in himself that he can actually do it. So if he tries and then he fails, then so be it. But particularly, he said that was one thing, he got the courage. Because at some point, when many managers were rejecting the opportunity of being Bayern Munich coach, he took it upon himself. A manager at Burnley, coaching Bayern Munich, a team
what a step it was for him.
Particularly a very big step, as a matter of fact. So I think he's doing quite well at the moment, and I also want to thank the players under his disposal, because however you want to look at it, he's still got quality in that team. We're talking about the likes of Jamal Musiala, we're talking Serge Gnabry, the likes of Joshua Kimmich.
How many goals? About 4 goals?
4 goals, and Harry Kane at this point is also banging in goals for them.
And I think 3 penalties.
3 penalties. So he's now the highest, English scoring player in European competition. Wayne Rooney scored 30, the man is currently 33. So before the end of this particular season, maybe he will score 40 European goals. It makes a whole lot of sense, but I want to see them win trophy at the moment. Harry Kane, you have to break that gene.
Yeah, the Harry Kane course is that conversation, scoring lots of goals, but a winning trophy is a problem. Coleman has always won trophies every season until Harry Kane came. Is that conversation? Well, massive games also took place. It was a dominant performance from Sporting Lisbon, beating 10-man Lille 2-0, and Gyökeres also being the man of the match, and McKennie also scoring the goal that helped Juventus in the start of the UEFA Champions League. a win over PSV. A massive start for that side with the new manager in that side. And quickly, let's talk about the games that are taking place today. Enticing games in the Champions League. Paris Saint-Germain against Girona. Manchester City against Inter. Club Brugge take on Borussia Dortmund. It's a conversation talking about the biggest of games this particular day. Day 2 of the Champions League, but match day 1-0.
Well, I think I'm looking forward to the game involving Manchester City and Inter Milan. Both sides have actually started their respective, club, season on fire. Inter Milan currently doing quite well, and of course Manchester City on the other end. Courtesy of the man Erling Haaland is also banging in goals, as a matter of fact, and it makes a whole lot of sense. I want to see how they tend to face off each other later tonight at the Etihad Stadium. I think that's arguably one of the biggest games this particular evening, and I just can't wait for what Pep Guardiola would cook at the Etihad.
Oh, well, ultimately, can't wait for what Pep Guardiola can cook at the Etihad Stadium. Is that conversation? Other games also taking place would be the likes of Sparta Prague against Salzburg, Bologna against Shakhtar Donetsk a day before, Bologna in that direction, Celtics against Slovan Bratislava in that direction. And we've talked about Paris Saint-Germain against Girona. Well, massive conversation to talk about now. We also have to look at the EFL Cup. It was Manchester United smashing it.
Absolutely.
How many goals now? 7. Marcus Rashford scoring 2 against Brandse. Many people saw it and thought it was against Barca, the abbreviation aspect of it. When you're watching the match and you thought, Manchester United beating Barca?
7-0.
7-0? Not possible. But it was the case of Barnsley in that direction. Massive win now. Antonio Dos Santos also scoring. Who now? Marcus Rashford, the 2 goals. Garnacho 2 goals. Christian Eriksen 2 goals. Manchester United seem back. Glory Manchester.
I think they're not back at the moment because Barnsley side, the side not even in the English Championship particularly. So I don't think it's something to really be happy about.
But back-to-back wins for Manchester.
Maybe just grows the confidence of the players, most especially for Marcus Rashford, who had a very bad part last season. Started off this season without no goals, scoring against Southampton. So back-to-back goals now for the man Marcus Rashford. The man can actually build confidence from here. But going forward, they have to test this quality play against top opponents in the English Premier League. And I think their first test they failed against Liverpool. So I want to see other games, other top games for them, the likes of Spurs, maybe Arsenal. We're also talking about Manchester City as the season progresses. That's where we'll know whether United are back or not. But a comprehensive and a very dominating victory for them last night.